Welcome to Pilgrim Lutheran Church and School's virtual Sunday School. This week, we're going to be talking about sheep and goats and a shepherd. And as we do the reading, I would encourage you to think about the last 2 weeks of lessons, as well as who you might think is the shepherd and the sheep. How do you identify? Are you a shepherd or are you a sheep? So here is the reading from Matthew 25, verses 31 to 46. Sheep and goats. Jesus, how do you know who serves you and who doesn't? The disciples wondered. I know who serves me, like a shepherd knows his sheep, Jesus explained. A shepherd knows how to tell a sheep from a goat. People who serve me are like my sheep. People who don't are like goats. We want to be like sheep, the disciples said eagerly. How can we serve you? When you serve other people, you serve me, Jesus smiled. When you feed someone who is hungry, you serve me. When you share your blanket with someone who is cold, you serve me. When you care for someone who is sick, you serve me. The disciples looked pleased with themselves. Of course they knew how to serve Jesus. But, Jesus warned, when people do not serve others, they do not serve me. Every time you ignore someone who needs your help, it is like ignoring me too. Uh-oh, the disciples looked at each other. They felt nervous as they started thinking about if they had ignored someone who needed help. How can we be sure to always serve you, Jesus? They asked. Help others, share, love each other, Jesus replied. God's kingdom is for those who show their love by serving others in need. So I think this is a great reading for today because it follows along in the last couple weeks of readings that we've done, right? Do you think of yourself as the shepherd? Do you think of yourself as a sheep or a goat? I usually think about myself as the sheep because I know that I need to follow the right way of doing things. But sometimes I could be a little bit of a shepherd too, right? It's part of what I'm doing with Sunday school of teaching the lessons and paying things forward. So who remembers what we talked about 2 weeks ago? We talked about, does anybody remember being the light? How do we make sure that our lights don't burn out? And there we talked about making sure we take care of ourselves first, right? Because we can't give that light if our light is burnt out. So first, we talked about taking care of ourselves. And then last week, who remembers what we talked about? I'll give you a hint. We have a very important holiday coming up on Thursday, and the lesson last week connected to that. Yeah, it was remembering to give thanks. So when we take care of ourselves, and then we can say, thank you for the things that we've had that help us take care of ourselves. What comes next? What are we able to do? We have the light, we have the gratitude and the appreciation, and then we can serve others. And so that's really an easy 3-step process that helps us to be good sheep and following our shepherd and not the goat, right? The goat doesn't do the other pieces, right? Remembering to take care of themselves, remembering to be thankful, and then serving others. So I would encourage all of you to, as we go into this week, take a little bit of time. Make sure that your lights are shining bright. Remember to give thanks to God for all of the things that helped you keep your lights shining bright. And think about one thing you can do for somebody else to show that thanks and to show that gratitude. And what do you think that person will feel? Some thanks to you for your efforts, and the cycle continues. It's a ripple effect that goes forward throughout the world. And each person can take one step, and you can do multiple each day, and ripple love and sharing throughout the world. And remember to serve God by serving others. So thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.